What's up? Definitely for the first time today, everybody! Welcome to BaseTradeTV. It's Rifkin and Not Quite Zombie Grub coming at you with a show match tonight, but of course, Not Quite Zombie Grub is known a little bit better as Fear Dragon. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing quite wonderful, Graham. Good to be back, and good to be back with North American StarCraft, man. I mean, you pulled me in for the right event.
Yeah, well, I was just like, I've never heard of either of these players. No, I'm just kidding. GameTime's been impressing us a hell of a lot lately, and PiLiPiLi, I think, has been on everyone's radar for several months now, at the very least. He actually, with the last few WCS events of last year combined with the ones this year, he's certainly been the name to look for when it comes to NA. Outside of Neeb, of course. Neeb just kind of hogs the spotlight, and PiLiPiLi's like right there on the edge. Like, let me just, I'll put a toe in, maybe a little bit. Like, Anyways, we've been teasing about this all morning when I was casting the WCS stuff. I've been tweeting about it all day. We have a really big announcement coming your way. Here's where it gets a little bit awkward, though. We're actually on a 2.5 minute delay, so I'm waiting for the corresponding party to tweet or something on what it is we're waiting to announce. And we're going to do that like right away. Like, we coordinated with them to say 6:30 p.m. Pacific. So the thing is, I do want to tell you guys about what this is before the show match gets underway, because it has a lot to do with said show match, actually. Or at least something to do with it. Oh, I can't speak about it yet for another minute or so, otherwise this just ends up looking really awkward. So while we do wait, I will quickly point you towards the prize pool for today. We've actually had a really generous fella. His name is Nivik. Excuse me. Apparently he's going to get some in-game shoutouts from the players, which is awesome, as he cheers for game time with his $100 contribution to today's prize pool. Woo. We, of course, put in $100 ourselves. Then Match Arena is putting about $100 through codes. So, I mean, hypothetically, today's prize pool should be at least $300 for the players. And we're not taking a cut. We're going to make sure they get all the money. It's going to be split 60-40, winner-loser. So they'll both get a good chunk for just coming out and playing some good games for us tonight. And hopefully entertaining the masses that choose to tune in.
Yeah, it's going to be incredibly hype. And, of course, guys, remember that we do have Match Arena codes available for you guys to use if you want to contribute to the prize pool but you don't have the money, or if you just want to contribute to the prize pool, you have the money and you want to add in an extra $1. I believe the promo code is PVG?
GVP.
GVP, okay. I'm not going to be
PiLi.
redoing a tweet that I just made.
Yeah, it's wait, maybe it is. Hang on, I tweeted. You've got me second guessing this now. I had this on Twitter.
Oh man, I'm pretty sure I tweeted this earlier too, but
It's GVP. Okay.
Okay, it is GVP.
GVP.
Okay.
Game Time versus PiLi. But yeah, looks like the news is out. I can screen region this and show it to you all. Ladies and gentlemen, the big thing we've been waiting to talk about is our new partnership with DreamHack. We're thrilled to bring StarCraft to DreamHack Atlanta with BaseTradeTV, a $5,000 prize pool, which, by the way, we're still working on. We want to get that thing a little bit bigger and a little bit better. I'll, of course, speak more on that in a moment. I'm not sure what the actual news announcement says. We'll take a look at that later. I got to go retweet this on the BaseTrade account. But here's what's happening, guys. We noticed there's a lot of DreamHack North America stuff going on this year, but only like a couple of them have StarCraft, and that's for WCS. And StarCraft has no presence at the other DreamHacks, be it Atlanta or Denver. So I was like, you know what? I reached out. I'm like, what if, right? Hypothetical. What if we had the prize money, and we wanted to do some StarCraft? I don't know what accent I'm doing here, but we wanted to bring it to these ones that don't have StarCraft, and they're like, you know what? We're totally open to the idea. So here's our limitations with it, right? It's still a BYOC, which is what the original plan was for DreamHack had we not been involved at all. So it's still BYOC, bring your own computer. If we can find some sort of sponsorship to provide PCs, excuse me, we may try to work with that. No guarantees over there. If we can get more funding, maybe we can work with that. But right now, here's how it's going to be bare bones. $5,000 in pricing. It's going to be bring your own computer. But they're going to give us the semifinals and the grand finals on the main stage at DreamHack Atlanta. Now, if all goes well, we will, of course, obviously be taking this to Denver as well. But for now, the big announcement is Atlanta, because that's the one we're all planning for. Flights are booked, things are planned, and I think, fingers crossed, all should go smoothly. So if you guys haven't already, get on the Twitters, hit that retweet button, share what's going on, because it's super, 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 super sick that now we have another LAN for StarCraft in North America this year. And it's at a pretty big convention, too. Not some some random cyber cafe in the middle of like the corner of the street.
Oh my god, seriously, like every single time another LAN event gets announced for North America, like my passion is just reignited. Like it's so freaking awesome. And this one is also at a DreamHack, which I think is especially awesome because not only is it going to be like have the finals and semifinals and stuff on the main stage, but that means there's going to be a bunch of other things also to do there, so you can go check out other things going on.
I mean,
it's like there's a whole value package.
Yeah, there's big stuff at this event like Dota 2 and other things as well, so
it's totally worth going.
And son of a bitch, Nixie Kuro comes in swinging with a flaming sword of justice and a bomb so he can open the secret wall and get the treasures inside. 14,000 bits to kick off the NAcast tonight. Feels pretty
Holy
good.
Shit.
Whew, Nixie Kuro bringing that little bit of extra hype. But anyways, we'll talk more on this as time goes on. The last thing I do want to drive home is on the Match Reno page. This is what I want to show you guys. This is why we had to wait before we started the broadcast, right? Or rather, before we got into the games. If you go to the Match Reno page, like, yes, there's the whole code thing. Use it, cash it in, free dollar, etc. But if you scroll down, there's DreamHack tickets. Now, here's where this gets super sick. These are discounted from what you would purchase on the website for DreamHack, okay? That's the first part of it, which is so sick. The other part of it is I think 50% of each of these tickets sold will go to the prize pool. So, you guys want to go out to DreamHack Atlanta? You want to get the general admission ticket, not the player ticket? You want to get it for cheap, $38 for a 3-day pass to DreamHack Atlanta. Buy it here because 50% of that sale will go to the prize pool. And you're already getting it for cheap anyways. There's literally no downside to buying it through Match Reno. And it is worth noting Match Reno are actually also officially working with them in this capacity. I can verify that this isn't some like scam thing where they've put it up on the website. Like I said, we've been working closely with the fine folks at DreamHack to make all this cool stuff happen. So please, if you guys go to DreamHack, buy the tickets through Match Reno. Let's buy every single one up. Let's get things going. But more importantly, let's see if the players are ready to go. I actually haven't been reading the lobby, and I come back to PiLiPiLi's like, okay, you bring me a PC for Atlanta. he's
just like, okay, Fear Dragon. Like, let's do this. I'm like, okay, dude. And this is the funny thing. I was joking with you about this earlier, but there's like the fact that there are discounted tickets for the Match Arena. I was joking about how PiLi and GameTime themselves should contribute to the Match Arena to get their ticket.
Oh yeah, it would actually be cheaper for them to do that than buy, like, because there's a player ticket. If you guys didn't see, I only showed the general admission, but there's a player ticket there too. Cheaper,
and they'll get some of the money back.
Yeah, through the prize pool today. This would actually be the best time to do it. Anyways, we're here loaded into Odyssey. Let's get this show underway. Fear Dragon kick off game 1 in a best of 7. It's a show match. I lost my wording. Damn it. But it's a best of 7 ZvP.
All right.
And of course, you guys can see the ticker going at all times. So if you want to contribute to the Match Arena page, please do. If you don't, just enjoy the show. Either way, whether this is long or short, I think we should be in for some good games because I, for one, have been absolutely moved by Game Time lately. And I don't mean this in like some weird emotional way. He's just actually put on some really great games for us here on the channel. So I'm
I do mean it in an emotional way, Graham, because I think that my favorite thing, and I'll just say this before we introduce the players and everything, my favorite thing about these two guys and why I really think it's worth, if you are looking to invest some money and reward some players for hard work and good work ethic, these are like my two of my favorite picks because they both have amazing work ethic, and that's what makes them so awesome to cheer on for.
We're going to get into the cheers for sure as we get into the intro. Spawning here in the bottom right. He is going to be the Protoss Menace coming from Storm Gaming. Ladies and gentlemen, PiLiPiLi.
And his opponent up here in the top left-hand corner of the map representing Sloth Esports Club. Give it up for the Yellow Zerg GameTime.
Actually, and this is a totally ignorant question, is it actually the full name actually Esports Club? Because I've always just referred to them as Sloth, personally.
It is technically the Sloth Esports Club. Not even just Sloth Esports Team or something. It's like Sloth Esports Club.
Getting tipsy in the club. All right, well, Nivik, also, there's that shout out we were talking about. This guy threw in $100 to the prize pool before we even went live today, guaranteeing both PiLiPiLi and GameTime will get some extra dosh.
Hot damn.
Yeah, so people are talking about Atlanta in chat. That's good to see, guys. Again, I don't expect people to be rushing out to buy tickets now, and there will be a couple other events we are doing where you'll be able to get the tickets for cheap through Matcherino. So if you can't figure it out today, don't panic. These discounted tickets will be available until they're all gone. So we'll be attaching them to a lot of our events. And let's say 2 weeks from now you're watching a Showmatch. It's on Matcherino. You know, I am going to go to Atlanta. You can still buy the tickets then as long as they're available. But again, this isn't limited to StarCraft. This is going to be available through all of Matcherino, so I don't know how fast they'll sell out. Maybe the fighting game community is going to be super passionate and want to get involved. Maybe there'll be a Dota 2 tournament that crops up. I don't know. But the point is, as long as they're available on Matcherino, we will try and make them available to you guys. The more tickets that sell, by the way, the more we can do at DreamHack. Like, as a hypothetical, and I know this is not going to be reached, let's say 500 StarCraft players decide they want to come out of the woodworks and play DreamHack Atlanta. Suddenly we can go from being a BYOC to probably getting a little bit more space dedicated to StarCraft.
Just a little.
The folks at DreamHack, super duper special shout outs to AdaBC, by the way, have been really awesome about trying to outline that they want to be able to do more, but everyone, of course, is limited by resources.
Yep, it's going to be incredibly hype. But, of course, hopefully these two guys will be able to make it there. And speaking of which, we had a little bit of an interesting opening over here from PiLiPiLi. He did go for the 2 gateways before Nexus to get out 2 really fast adepts and put the pressure on, which is kind of funny. Because he was telling me beforehand, he was like, man, it's so funny. It's so sad. I used to be known for making adepts all the time, but I'm probably not going to make that many adepts versus game time. You know, to quote Pili himself.
Well, it's really interesting. The adepts are definitely still good in certain scenarios. But I think with a combination of the health nerf, you start seeing a lot more Hydralisks in play. They really lost their footing. Charge slots being cheaper too is just like so much more appealing to go for.
Yeah, exactly. And we are seeing the adepts. Oh, they're actually getting a pretty decent amount of damage, all nerfs considered. 3 drone kills, not too bad.
Yeah, and 4 lings on top of it. And that was just kind of like, that was the scouting force. It wasn't something dedicated. He was still going for the Stargate behind it. Stargate, a very, very scary tech path for all races to deal with. We've mostly heard the woes of Terran with Phoenix Adept, but even the odd Oracle putting not damage to the mineral line, but like stasis traps on the map can be so frustrating for even a good Zerg player to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like Stargate openings are just like the most ridiculously common opening in the matchup right now. You end up seeing 2 Oracles, and then I think the variance comes in. Usually what I see is some Protoss players will go for that 1 Phoenix just to hunt Overlords, which I'm actually a huge fan of. I just love like the kind of free damage model.
It's funny because for a while the Koreans were doing the 1 Void Ray to hunt Overlords, and I mean I like Void Rays in all iterations, even though they're slow with the prismatic line now. But yeah, Phoenixes will get the job done too. Either way, he is committing to his 2nd Oracle for the time being, so we'll see how much damage he can get done here. As long as Game Time's paying attention, he should be able to thwart this off. I mean, he's got Spore Crawlers and Queens at these bases.
Yeah, looks like the Adepts are enough to kind of push back these Lings for now. A couple more Lings are going to be coming out and probably looking to just try and get some scouting information, as well as even try and kill off a probe going over the 3rd expansion or something. We'll see what Pili ends up doing, though, because he hasn't really thrown down that transitionary tech just yet. And, losing 2 workers to the Oracle.
Yeah, it's not just that there's no transition through tech. There's no 3rd base down just yet. It looks like he's heading to take it now, but he doesn't have the minerals for it just yet.
Yeah, I think Game Time's looking for the same thing, but there come the 2 Oracles. Actually finding some drones transferring. Pretty nice pickup so far, and the damage on the Oracles is getting spread out pretty evenly between them, which is a really, really nice advantage for Pili, being able to keep both of them alive. So, Rifkin, I've been actually really wondering about this, and I've been thinking a lot about this base and 3rd expansions, because PiLiPiLi is going for this kind of more like northern 3rd expansion, and to me, like, I have 2 gut instincts as a Protoss player. 1, I really hate this base, but 2, it doesn't actually feel too far off from my natural, so it's like not as bad, but just feels kind of weirdly open. What do you think about it?
Well, I think both bases are going to be open. The key difference is, though, that you've got less space to travel from here to here than if you got to go all the way down to here. Because this also leaves another ramp, a high ground that you're going to have to fight with. And typically, I don't think you're going to see players coming down from the gold base.
Yeah.
It is totally player preference. It's like a Bizzle Reef, right? You see some people take that low ground, and you're like, why? You're just asking to be like Colossus attacked or something. But then nobody ever does. So
I know exactly what you mean.
I don't think it'll be too much of a problem, because if PiLiPiLi's playing this right, there really shouldn't be pressure at this base. For the most part, he'll be meeting his opponent in the middle of the map, but a small mistake, unless he really wants Warp Prism speed and extended Thermal Lance at the same time.
Yeah, you say a small mistake, but honestly, at this point, gas for a Protoss player is a ridiculously valuable resource. The extra 200 gas sunk into that second robotics bay is actually possibly going to set back PiLi by a good bit.
Okay, hear me out, Fear Dragon. He knows it's Hydras, and they're eventually going to push into his natural, so he built the backup one in the main just to be safe for when this one goes down. He never wants to stop making Colossus.
It's actually a bait. He's going to let that first robotics bay die,
He's
then
actually
come in
going to
with
let him
three
finish,
surprise
dude.
Colossus.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay, so those are... Yeah, the problem is... Forget we're focusing on this RoboBay thing. PiLi just has no units. There's no army and no amount of force fields that I think is going to overcome a 30 supply deficit when most of that supply, it's not links, it's all Hydras. No charge lots, no nothing. Front base is already, or the front of the base has already been destroyed. I feel like this game's already over.
Oh god, this is really becoming a problem, because not only that, but also even the Warp Prism that I think was maybe his only hope of trying to send this army homer doing some counter damage gets pushed back and GG gets called.
GG.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that PiLi was definitely playing it a little bit greedy in a sense, but a lot of that also I feel like came down to the fact that his Warp Prism was moved across the map, and if you're in that situation where you're going to take damage, like, look, your Warp Prism and 4 depths are not going to make or break the difference on that defense. Like, just, I almost wonder, like, would it be worth just continue sending it across the map and try and do something with it?
Either way, we're going to hop into map number 2 here in just a moment. We got JD Toss joining us in chat, and he's asking, hey, I'm a bit late. Did I miss the announcement? Yes, and we're never going to tell you what it was. Sorry, you're just SOL. No! Man, if you guys are just joining us for whatever reason, you missed the start of the stream, we're hyping up the fact that we're going to be working with DreamHack to make Atlanta have a little bit of StarCraft. So, again, this is... It's almost like I feel like a video game, right? You're trying to level up the character with experience. Instead of experience, it's tickets sold. Right now, it's a BYOC. It's $5,000. It's going to be open. We're going to host some online events ahead of time to, like, seed people in. Like, the actual format of the DreamHack is going to be somewhat similar to what you guys have seen. Group stage into round of 8. The thing is, it just doesn't have dedicated computers. If we sell enough tickets and we get sponsorship for it, like, we're doing everything we can to bring the prize pool up to get more and more people there, incentive to have people there. Like, you might not be willing to fly out for like a 5K event because there's no prizing for like 32nd place, but hey, if we got like $10,000, there's a little bit more incentive to come out and play. Either way, again, for us, as long as this goes well at Atlanta, we're excuse me. I'm gonna die here. As long as it goes well as Atlanta, we're absolutely gonna try and make this happen at Denver too. But fingers are crossed, and we'll see how it plays out. And of course, if you guys did miss that announcement, you probably also missed the fact that we talked about you can get tickets at a discounted rate on Matcherino. And on top of that discounted ticket rate, you will also contribute a portion of that ticket purchase to the prize pool.
I really also want to stress, like, the importance of also trying to spread the word. Like, if you know other people who may want to go for this, like, go tweet it out, go talk about it on Reddit or Twitter or whatever, like, or a Team Liquid, wherever, because that's how you generate interest in this, and that's how you get to see more of these kind of awesome NA LAN events. And like Rifkin was saying, like, things maybe grow for an event like Denver if things turn out well.
Also, quick shoutouts to Sloth Esports Club themselves, throwing $40 to the prize pool while we weren't looking.
Ooh.
$10 coming from our fan 47. Let's love this guy and his art. And that brings the total prize pool up to $325. A lot of codes got used, but I think there's still some left, so make sure you guys go use the code GVP on the Match Arena page to add $1 to the prize pool for free. Once we've used them all up, I'll shut up. But until then, let's get through this best of 7. Map number 2 spawns here in the bottom left. We got Storm Gaming's Protoss player down 1 game at the moment. See if we can bring it back. It's PiLiPiLi.
And his opponent up here in the top right, we have the yellow Zerg player from Sloth Esports Club. It's game time.
So I will really agree with the one point you made about the playing a bit greedy aspect of this. I think there are a lot of games that we see where the Zerg player is a little hesitant to push. They don't quite go for the kill move. They wait till they're maxed out. And that usually will buy Protoss players plenty of time to not just get the third, but also get this Colossus up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think actually it's sort of funny because I feel as though Game Time is one of those players that has a bit of a reputation of playing toward the mid game as opposed to he's not a super duper early game player. When he does cheese, oftentimes, I'm not going to lie, it's kind of just because he's starting to tilt a little bit. And when he, like, his late game is okay, but I don't think that's really where his strong point is. It's really about those mid game pushes for him. So I'm a bit surprised to see PiLi try and play it out so greedy versus Game Time.
Yeah, it's, you know, the first game is the first game in a series, and part of it as well that we have to consider. Actually, you would know, I don't. Who won the map choice? Like, whose coin flip was that?
Oh, that was Game Time's. 100% Game Time.
So then that might just be a little bit of PiLi saying, you know what, like, this is not my map. This is not the map I want to play on. Like, and I start, like, suddenly him playing the way he did makes a little more sense, I gotta say.
Yeah.
But also, we didn't get to do any of this earlier, so I just want to get out of the way now, guys, before we get too far into the series. Of course, we had the wonderfully generous excuse me, I can't speak. 14,000 bits coming in from Nexikuro earlier. But I gotta give some love to my man Panic Switch. Hit us up with a 35-month resub, and that 35 months was a tier 3 sub as well. You Won't Be Laughing was a brand new sub. Maynard hit us up for 10, and then Darcilius just recently for 30 months. Thank you guys all for your support of the channel. Things like this, that's why we're able to do what we do and get shit like DreamHack happening, man.
That is freaking awesome. Really quickly, I do want to touch on one small detail in this game already that's happened, is that PiLiPiLi did something that doesn't look that odd, but he made his mothership core before his Stargate. And most of the time, you just kind of look at it and like, yeah, okay, cool. He doesn't want to die to an all-in, but a lot of pro players, including PiLi, love skipping that mothership core for a really long time.
Yeah.
This just kind of shows he's a little bit afraid.
I was gonna say Neeb is most prominent about this. It's so obvious. You're watching him on the top. He's always making it to the finals of tournaments. He's always getting screen time. You guys will notice Neeb, he'll skip mothership cores until he loses to not having a mothership core. And I really don't think that last game for PiLi was because he didn't have a mothership core. There's a lot of mistakes that last game. The double robo, the greedy play, but the mothership core was not one of them.
Yeah, it really does seem like PiLi is just a little bit. I guess I don't know if paranoid's the right word for it, but a little bit concerned about a big attack. And hey, there are a lot of Lings over here. Legend Overcharge comes out, pushes the Lings back, and he does have a Zealot at the wall in, but that one Zealot will not hold the wall for long.
No, he's got the probe there. I think he's waiting to put down another pylon or a gateway or something to block it. Yeah, he's getting a little bit paranoid, but he was good with that Zealot.
Oracle adding in a lot of extra DPS as well. 2 additional Lings can come in, but Legend Core should be enough to push those guys back. Honestly, a pretty solid defense from PiLi. It's kind of a weird thing for Game Time too, right? It's almost like you trade out, I'm going to make out a lot of Lings early on, and that's almost like replacing the drones that would have died to that Oracle energy.
It is interesting seeing the Void Ray too. We talked a little bit about this last game.
Yeah.
The second Stargate coming down. I guess we're going to see some dedication. I mean, I guess in fairness, when the patch hit, not a whole hell of a lot changed for the end game of Protoss here.
Yeah, you know, Proxima used to be known for air toss, and we still get to see the Golden Armada here, so I would be in agreement.
He's going straight to dessert, Fear Dragon. He really is being greedy about this.
Man. You know, PiLi used to be, this was what he actually got a lot of really big results on at, what was it, I Am Katowice? Where he defeated and, like, made a really sick run, got named, like, what was it, the Sith Lord PiLiPiLi or something like, something silly like that.
It doesn't help because he, like, wears his hoodie like he is actually, like, a Sith Lord. I mean, I think even the photo you used for the banner for this, he ends up looking like that, too. It's great.
He actually... okay, I'm gonna say this. He did not used to always play like that. He did not always used to play with his hoodie up, but like since that event, he's always been playing. It seems like.
Just gotta embrace the meme, dude. Make the best of it.
PiLi's great at embracing the memes, but okay, Stasis Trap actually catches a handful of things. He catches the Queen though. He's gonna prevent larva injects for a little bit.
Well, it's not only that, but if you guys don't know, energy does not regenerate while you're. I guess I don't know what you call it, stasis.
Yeah.
So this not only delays injects, but it also delays regen to even try and inject. So this is almost like a double deny, which is really sick. Because if you had caught this Queen any other time, it might not have been as big of a deal.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. I hadn't even really considered that, but That is a nice kind of way to slow down your opponent, especially when the name of the game right here is slow down your opponent from doing another big Hydra push, because that's one of the most threatening things when you're trying to go for this air toss style. But he's going to buy enough time to at least get up some photon cannons. I mean, just, you know, 1 or 2 photon cannons at the front. That's all you really need.
Yeah. By the way, folks in chat are talking about Denver with like sad face. Don't worry, guys. Again, if all goes well at Atlanta, and I really hope it does, we will absolutely put the investment in there to make Denver happen too. But we're not promising anything yet because we got to see how this first one goes. I mean, well, we want it to go well for us. DreamHack has to also make sure it goes well for them, right? This is like the first time they've reached out and done this with somebody before. At least with StarCraft. Maybe other games. I don't know. Anyways, back at home for PiLiPiLi. Game time, you know, he's shown the Hydras. PiLiPiLi knows that he needs to buy more time because the carriers at the moment are not adequate enough. So, layer after layer of cannon after cannon. I think what's so funny about this, though, is if Pili... If this was Hive Tech, and if a single Viper's out, you like blind cloud the cannons and this is like a joke. He almost gets the Void Raid too, down to 3 health.
Yeah, it does keep that alive, and luckily for Pili, because it's the Hydra tech instead of a Spire really coming out quickly, massing out Corruptors, the Void Raid isn't as important as if you were facing off against that Spire tech. Carriers are really the big DPS he wants, and, well, that +1 air weapons, when it kicks in, it's going to be really helpful, but he needs to survive that long first.
Yeah, big problem with this is with the amount of carriers there are right now, it's actually viable for the Hydras to kill the Interceptors instead of the carriers. At some point later, the carrier number will be like 7, and then, like, yeah, you can't really ignore the carriers anymore.
Yeah, I like the fact that there are actually 2 pylons at the front, because those actually allow him to put an overcharge and push back the Hydras, and just buy time for more carriers to come out. I mean, think about it. He's making 5 carriers at a time, Rick.
That's everything right now. It's him just buying time, but I do want to note there's a Baneling nest coming up behind us, and I think this is a really interesting way to try and bust those cannons down. I mean, it's not usually the point to talk about unless you're like busting a supply depot wall or something, but let's not forget, they got the bonus versus buildings. These cannons will go down so quick.
I mean, I can see some locations where the Banelings explode. They'll be hitting 5 of these cannons at a time. That's some pretty good value.
Yeah, they're stacked up. They're not at all spread. But these are Banelings without speed. The carriers, if focus firing, could easily take them out before they even touch the cannons. I mean, there's like a line drawn in the sand right now, and I don't know that Game Time realizes Pili snuck a probe out to take a new base. If that base gets up and running and this attack fails, Game Time is screwed.
Oh man, Game Time was about to head in that direction too, but immediately Pili just starts the engagement, moves over the carriers.
There might be too many Hydras. Yeah.
Oh my god.
By not having to waste time shooting the cannons, they took out, they completely disarmed the carriers. They're rebuilding some now, but I feel there just might be too many Hydras. Is Baneling still up too? No cannons left, only the overcharge to worry about. New carrier gets focused down, no interceptors for you. Big denying. Game Time's looking to run away with game number 2 at this rate.
Oh man, but you have to remember that the carriers are mostly staying alive. The interceptors have died, but slowly but surely, PiLiPiLi is remaking those interceptors, and he's keeping so many of these carriers alive that if he even gets 5 to 10 seconds to regenerate those interceptors, he can actually maybe take an engagement.
It's worth noting too that PiLiPiLi canceled, not killed, but he canceled his 4th base in favor of building another carrier. So 5 carriers at a time. I think you're right. Like, he may have bought just enough time. But my concern is, while building interceptors is normally not an issue, 1.5 base economy might not actually be able to sustain the carriers at this rate.
Yeah, that is definitely going to be a big concern right now. He can't even do other kind of tech outs.
He just can't build it fast enough. Game Time needs to keep the pressure up. As long as he keeps the pressure up, oh, he's going to kill the pylon. No more carriers.
Oh.
Nothing to be built. No interceptors to be had.
Well, that's 2 of the Stargates down. And unfortunately, those other 2 Stargates are sitting idle while the other 2 carriers are halfway completed. It seems like PiLiPiLi may start to clean up all these Hydras in his main base. God, this fleet of carriers is so massive, and he's finally got the interceptor count. But like you were saying, does he have the economy? I almost feel like he has to just push across the map and nearly win right here, but I don't know if that's a safe maneuver.
Yeah, actually, going across now is going to be a slow, grueling process, but you can see Game Time has continued to stay rallied because he knows he can't possibly bulk up enough Hydras at home. In fact, I think Larva, forget the money, which he doesn't have either, but there's not enough Larva to build enough Hydras to take on the carriers anymore. Like, that was a really sweet fight, but oh no, this is bad for Game Time now.
I like what Game Time is doing with these Lings. He knows that if he takes out the even just few remaining workers that Pili has, he can stop interceptor production entirely. But oh no, the Zerglings are going after pylons on the 3rd because he's busy microing out the 4th.
Yeah, this looked so powerful, and game time I feel was almost seconds away from winning at a point there, but it's GG.
PiLiPiLi shows that the Golden Armada still staying strong in the most recent patch.
Yep. We are now up to $429 raised for this prize pool with some, Butt Dragon 64? I can't read that.
I think that says Butt Dragon 69. I'm pretty sure that says 69.
Fear Dragon, buddy, why are you throwing $100 into the prize pool? I already did that.
Man, you know what? I got my love for the NA players, and I hope that other people also show that some of that love. Because these guys, I seriously, guys, I could not get enough of them.
Okay, I'm not gonna. There's no anti-hype here. Yeah, because this also blows away the $400 goal, but $429 raised now for this prize pot is pretty dope. This means the players are gonna get, the winner will get $257, the loser will get $171. I want to tell you guys a little story though. We're gonna go tell the players we'll take about a few moment break here because I'm gonna tell you guys a small short story. Then we'll go to a break. Then we'll come back for game 3. But the reason I was inspired to do this show match was game time. I felt a little bit robbed. Don't get me wrong here, right? I'm not trying to speak ill of the sponsors. They picked No Regret for the 8th and final spot for the Game Land Invitational. I recommended Game Time. That was my selection. I said, look, this guy's been really good lately. He's on fire. He'll give us good games. I think we should invite him. But here's 2 other very worthy candidates, and they went with No Regret. And I felt bad because after talking to Game Time, like, he had expedited a passport and rushed it so he could possibly travel to Canada or Yun shipping, and he didn't qualify for either, so he's like out $200-something for the passport. I'm like, dude, you know what? I really enjoy your games. You've been fun to watch. Let's throw a show match. We can get you that money back, no problem. So right now we're almost at the point where even if he loses, he can basically have his ass covered for the passport. But either way, PiLiPiLi, Game Time, they're both going to get some good cash from today. $429 raised. I don't know if there's any codes left, but if there are, please use them. We'll go to a small 2-minute break in game number 3 when we return. What map can we look forward to for your dragon?
Blood Boil.
All right, see you guys shortly. All right, folks, we're hopping into game number 3. Thank you for joining us on the stream. And, of course, thank you for watching that quick break as we hop into, I guess, almost the halfway point now of this best of 7. It is worth noting, though, that both these guys are very excited. We told them during the break about the current prize pool, and I think they're both very, very, very happy with it so far. So let's keep that hype rolling as best we can. Spawning here in the bottom right, he is, unfortunately, just lost that last game. Tied up 1-1, the yellow Zerg player, Game Time from Sloth Sports Club.
And his opponent up here on the top left-hand corner of the map, taking that last game with the Golden Armada. It's the Red Protoss, PiLiPiLi from Storm Gaming.
And thank you very much for Haley for the 3-month resub. Glad to have you back. Johnny wants to know if we'll be at Atlanta. Yes, the whole point of this is so Zomgrub and I can go cast at Atlanta. We're not just like putting this prize pool together for nothing. We will be at Atlanta. And I believe the date for that's like end of July. I actually don't know off the top of my head.
All right. Well, while you look that up, I'll also kind of mention about these 2 guys right here. Something that I did mention before is that they are actually practice partners with each other. They play games with each other a lot. So some of the kind of weird things that end up happening, maybe some of the greed that comes out of players like PiLiPiLi in that first game and things like that, sometimes it may just end up being a little bit of mind games from all the previous games that they played against each other. And I always hear Game Time talk about how, oh yeah, you know, PiLiPiLi and I played a bunch of games right before Challenger, you know, help prepare each other in the PvZ matchup and everything. And ZvP, for part of that reason, it's one of Game Time's, actually it is his best matchup, and it has been for almost a year now.
Well, yeah, so actually part of this was I asked him, like, so what match would you feel the most confident? Let's get a good show going, right? Like something you're not going to, like, get all, I guess, choked up about. And for him, he was, like, very excited to say ZvP. And then, of course, I coordinated with Fear Dragon because he knows the NA scene far better than I do, trying to find an appropriate opponent. It came down to either Creature or PiLiPiLi, but as soon as you told me that these guys had practiced a bunch, I was sold immediately because I know practice partners always give the best games.
Yeah, they always have some really weird things that'll end up happening, and oftentimes ends up being pretty close because they know each other's habits and everything. Speaking of which, I wonder if this is a habit of Game Time to go for the gold as his third. And I want to hear what you have to say about this because normally I don't think of Zergs as being like very gas limited, but this is like, yeah, go ahead.
I'm just gonna immediately sigh because it's Blood Boil, and I hate everything about this map, including this gold base. That being said, I think it's actually way better to take the bases out here. Since this base is a smaller priority due to the limited gas, and you don't need it as badly, I think mining this out so you don't have to worry about protecting it later is way better, so that you can just fall back to this like in the late game if you need to. That being said, though, I've actually seen more folks, at least on the Korean side of this and some of the European side, they end up taking this base, which I find really weird, because it's still one gas, like one gas for one gas. I don't know. But I like this. I like this a lot, especially if game time's going to be aggressive in any way, shape, or form. That creep spread's going to be out there right away by taking this gold base.
Yeah, that other base, the fact that you say you sometimes see people taking that is so weird to me, because I look at that and I'm like, oh dear God, I would hate to have to deal with Warp Prism harassment at that exact cliff base. Like, that would be the biggest nightmare in the world.
Actually, funny enough, what makes it makes it easier, though, because if you had a Sporkle on each side and a Queen on each side,
that's
it's
true.
never out of range. And I think that might be part of the thought process, but again, I'm not a Protoss Zerg. I don't know the dynamic that hits that base, but I would say that this gold is still always unlikely. Now, one of the nice things Game Time gets from this, like, it's a lot of early link production. So, cool, you got the extra money, you can kind of afford to skip a couple of drones here and there. And that lets him police the third base. PiLiPiLi will not easily take this base. In fact, he's going to lose a stalker.
Whoa.
Like, he got jebaited out of the base.
You might even have to put an overcharge over here. Zealot cannot take on that many lings, and he doesn't have any more gateway units coming out. Zealot is so close to dying, and there's going to be put an overcharge last second.
PiLiPiLi's doing something really interesting. He's going for such fast charge lots. Now, again, in the most recent patch of the game, it's still kind of new. Charge was reduced from 200 to 100 in cost. So I'm thinking a Warp Prism with some early charge lots could be just absolutely chaotic to have to deal with, at least at the timing in which they're about to hit.
It's not only that, but I know you mentioned there's only one gas geyser in that kind of in-base natural, but it's not just that. It's 10 mineral patches. You actually have more mineral income than you normally would at another base. So this may actually be a little bit of a playoff of that.
I guess the Zealots being mineral heavy and no gas whatsoever, if you do this right, you'll have a lot of minerals to warp in with. So yeah, he's just going to warp in out here and walk some over, not all drops, and charge. Charge whatever for the speed. It causes 8 damage on impact. Like, you're tackling your opponent as you run into them. So things like queens and drones and even roaches go down pretty quick to this.
Oh, there's only 6 roaches out. There are 6 more that are coming out in production, but definitely not enough to split up between all the bases. This 4th expansion for certain is gonna have to get canceled. I think.
I really like that pickup, by the way, out of the Warp Prism, so he wouldn't lose them to the roaches. Now he gets to harass the main with them.
Yeah, going after the queen right now is gonna pick those up as some more roaches are popping, but that allows them to immediately go over to the gold now.
Charge lots here are going to get shut down, but maybe there's a distraction that was just necessary. For those who don't know the dynamic of this, by the way, even if you didn't have really fast +1, like, Zealots still take down queens, so these roaches were absolutely necessary. I'm worried though for PiLiPiLi. You know, his third got delayed doing this weird build. On top of this, he has very little army, much less effective army, and Game Time's looking to just brute force an attack here. Seriously, he's got 7 more roaches on the way. He's already on 70 supply for army, and PiLi's got a couple of overcharges and an Immortal. The Immortal's good. It's going to be really good, but will it be good enough?
Oh, force fields are so important over here. You need to lock down the roaches, and unfortunately, a lot of them do end up slipping through because the Zealots are just going to end up charging forward outside of the Photon overcharge range. So you really need to make sure you're taking engagement within that Photon overcharge so that your Zealots don't just run off and die. Oh, those are slightly better force fields. Just lock in a couple of them. There's only a couple of Ravagers available.
He only needs a couple, though. Look how small the Sentry count is. Like, right now, it's a hard pick and choose. Last force field or Guardian Shield. He gets 1 force field off only to be broken. Not a lot of Ravagers needed. 3 Immortals are out, though. The Lings become really important as they get to the front lines. Brute Force just might be the order here, though. Game Time is just destroying PiLiPiLi's defense.
Yeah, it's like you were saying, there's just not enough. Even if the Immortals survive for a long time, the Zealots had died off in the beginning, and the Lings just crush everything. Game Time is charging on forward. Oh god, if he depowers this pylon, oh god!
That was such an important pylon. I wish there was a name for a pylon when it's that important, singular and alone, but there's not, so it's just an important pylon that goes down, and 2 Immortals will not get to finish being made. The Ravagers, the Roaches, they're taking out the actual Robos, and there's only charge lots left.
God, the out-of-control pylon is really just... It's sealed the deal, I think, in this game. Because now PiLi is just relying on Zealots to warp in, and that's not going to be enough. GG gets called.
Did you just out of control that pylon?
I mean, that attack was out of control, man. PiLiPiLi did not have any control over that.
No, I liked it. I liked it. Okay, well, that gives Game Time a very nice 2-1 lead, halfway to victory. Of course, it's a best of 7, so first player to 4 wins. And looks like the prize pool's been bumped up even a little bit more in the interim, now up to $434 raised. A couple people still trickling in with those last-minute codes.
Yeah, what was that code, by the way?
GvP, Game Time versus PiLiPiLi.
I'm so glad I asked you, because I was definitely like, surely it was PVG.
So
Nope.
Carry that 3. I don't know. Anyways, one big request out of you guys right now. If you haven't already, like, even if you don't use Twitter but you have a Twitter, please do me a favor. Get on, retweet that DreamHack tweet, share about the news. I know a lot of our fans are actually probably asleep right now because we are a lot more European/Korean time zone based, but I'm really, really excited about getting to work with DreamHack and bring StarCraft to Atlanta. To make a LAN happen that wasn't happening before feels freaking good, man. So please, guys, get on the Twitters. Hit that retweet button. Hit that favorite button if you're really feeling inclined. But we're going to get to game number 4 here with Abyssal Reef. Game Time versus PiLiPiLi.
All right, just waiting for the players to say that they are ready. But so far, I mean, we do have Game Time leading up 2-1 with just, I mean, 2 really solid attacks that kind of feels like both games, Game 1 and Game 3, catch PiLiPiLi a bit off guard. It's a little bit concerning, I would say.
I really do think that... Okay, so I don't know how... I'm not trying to take away from Game Time. He's doing things correctly. But I do feel like both of PiLiPiLi's losses are a lot more on him than on Game Time.
Yeah, I feel like there's definitely a little bit of greed coming in from PiLiPiLi, and I think a lot of that comes down to he's trying to go for this Warp Prism harassment. And the idea is the Warp Prism harassment has to keep the Zerg player at home and has to prevent them from wanting to move out while you get up your third and transition out. But it doesn't feel like that's been happening.
You know what's kind of funny, actually? Before we do these intros, just thinking on this further, if he had not taken that gold base, he may not have had the extra income to float all those roaches and get all the defense out in time. Or alternatively, if he had taken that gold base but also taken a 4th much sooner, I think PiLiPiLi's build would have punished somebody playing greedy like that. Like,
oh my god. All right, Ricken, let's do these intros because we already got some funky stuff happening.
Yeah, in the bottom right, I hope he's ready to put his defender pants on. It's PiLiPiLi.
And in the top left, with the 12 pool, no gas, we have Sloth Esports Club's Game Time sitting up 2-1. And Graham, I have to tell you something. I asked both the players how they were feeling about this series before the day, and PiLiPiLi not only told me, like, yeah, I'm not going to be making many adepts, which he's been staying pretty true to. He's been making a lot of charge loss instead. But he also said, Game Time is going to 12 pool me at least one game. He called it. He called it so hard. And I feel like this is also a pretty common map for the 12 pool because of that kind of wall in at the front for Protoss.
Yeah, I'm not sure if anyone heard what just happened. That was a mistake, a misclick. Sorry. The soundboard that looped by accident, but it wasn't louder than you. Don't worry, it was quiet.
Okay.
But that's kind of a sick call to just, I guess on one hand, this is a Zerg player. A capable Zerg player will always have multiple builds in their pocket, so to call one of said builds out, okay, yeah, PiLiPiLi, you're totally an oracle here, but to know that this would actually come is important. Now, the way he's built here, if Game Time was actually going around the side to sneak in anyways, he's not going to lose any time to this wall. Not initially, at least. PiLiPiLi doesn't have the wall off to the right side. Game Time, worth noting, didn't scout this. He was planning to sneak in from the side anyways. One of the things I've loved about watching Game Time so far is he's been such a smart player. He's done some really cool tricks with banelings against ZVZs. But this wall from PiLiPiLi, it forces a probe pull, and this is already hurting him. Game Time does economic damage by these probes just not mining right now.
Yeah, he does have a hatchery coming out behind this. Surprisingly, actually good control over here from PiLiPiLi, though. I really thought he would take more losses, at least some worker losses or something. But even the Zealot is only just now losing beyond the shields, but finally does get surrounded. It's going to get picked off. Second Zealot coming out, and the Mothership Core is on the way as well. But PiLiPiLi actually target firing down some of these weakened Zerglings. Oh, until the last second. Yeah.
All right, so if he gets these pylons down in time, the Mothership Core is only going to have the 1 overcharge. So this might be more of a question of supply block than anything else, depending how it goes.
Well, he does still have a lot of supply left over. He might actually even get the Overlord for Game Time, backfiring a little bit.
Well, I said supply block, but clearly I was speaking with the wrong player here. Yikes.
Yeah.
Well,
Well-
showing the shift here real quick, guys. This was that pro pull. This was literally the pro pull on the graph, and that's where it stings the most. But as you can see, as soon as PiLiPiLi went back to mining, like, he's got a natural, he's got Chrono Boost, and he's got probes. It's not going to be a hard time getting money back for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we'll kind of see how things transition out, because there is that weird little bit of time where Game Time needs to get up that third, and he's banking up these minerals, and Pili is being annoying, knowing that Game Time doesn't want to have to make any more lings, but plants down the pylon is going to delay this third. This is actually a really uncomfortable feeling for Game Time, I'm sure.
It's not going to be fun. That's for sure. I mean, because the other thing is you could just skip ahead. You know, pull a Nurture and just go to the other base, right? And take this one, for example. However, that's not a base people are comfortable with doing. Also, what just happened with your camera?
Oh, I'm using XSplit, and I have my hotkey to show the graphs for in-game as the same for me switching scenes to like my in-game camera. So
I was like, why is
changing.
Spirit Dragon showing me StarCraft back to me? And we're watching the same game here. This makes
Rifkin, look at where I'm looking on the map.
Look over here, dummy! So 2 adepts, that's not gonna be too problematic. But it still should be about 3 or 4 drone kills if executed perfectly. Maybe even more if Game Time responds poorly. But yeah, he doesn't want to bring the lings in. I think he's really waiting on that speed to finish up, but realizing he has to get involved. 6 drones die. Feels bad, man, but he does clean it up.
Yeah, but that's actually a lot of damage, I would say, to get done. He takes the worker lead for a little bit, and if he can safely secure a 3rd expansion, I think Pili is going to be feeling pretty good about how this game has gone overall. Even though it's been a little bit weird, I think that he's been able to get his tech up a little bit faster, and he's going to have a lot of opportunities to safely defend a 3rd, as long as he can just defend this first like minute or so. Well, unfortunately not able to defend the first little wave. Sentries, not going to be baiting out any force fields. Nice attempt from Game Time, but ends up losing some lings in the process. So I'm actually really curious, because I've heard a lot of Zerg and Protoss opinions on this, but okay, well, unfortunately, not going to be the case.
Rifkin, as a Terran player in the ZvP matchup, what is your opinion on?
Yeah, I was going to ask about the Evolution Chamber and getting Carapace upgrades versus a Protoss that's been going for a lot of Zealots, because obviously Carapace doesn't help versus Zealots that 2-shot lings with charge, but after that, if Protoss is like staying even on upgrades, the Carapace upgrades I feel like can be pretty helpful.
That's actually a big question I would have too, because on top of this, you've got the Hydras with the extra health. And charge slots, I'd say, are primarily most effective against those. I don't know if getting armor upgrades actually affects that at all, because the 10 extra health might just be the quote-unquote free armor upgrade. Because right now we're seeing a lot of like +2 range into 1 melee or vice versa, but almost no Carapace. I think, generally speaking, that's the same for all races. Like, Protoss just hits so hard, Carapace isn't going to help a lot of the time.
Yeah, that's a fair point. It really only helps against the charge Zealots also, like after charge has been expended if you're on even upgrades, but... Well, by the way, Warp Prism Harassment not quite able to do as much, but I like the fact that PiLiPiLi is able to keep this alive, and I want to know one kind of difference that it feels like in this game. We'll see how long this lasts, because it really is about when the Hydras pop out, but it feels like he's keeping Game Time a lot more preoccupied defending against the Warp Prism Harassment than he has in the previous games. And that's kind of a big deal, just because I feel like in the previous games, one of his biggest problems was that he'd be trying to take a base or trying to get up some tech, and he would just die to a big counterattack as soon as that Warp Prism backed off. But this time, he's the one getting aggressive. Okay, Warp Prism warping in a lot of Stalkers. Looks like he's identified that there are going to be some he's identified the Hydras coming out. I'm surprised he doesn't have Resonating Glaives or Charge, actually, this game.
Charge would be the priority, you'd imagine. He does have pretty good force fields here that do lock the Hydras out of the fight. Lings also can't come in. I mean, Game Time's already hit from 3 different angles, and he can't go in from either.
Pili has so many force fields to work with, too. He's got to re-force field that ramp. Okay, locks in 2 Hydras. That's actually a really nice pickoff. This is the most ideal engagement you could ever take.
This is... I mean, these force fields are absolutely fantastic. They're nailing it. It's a big part of why he's winning this fight. But Game Time's still pushing through the best he can. Hydra's coming out from 3 different locations. I think it's hurting him the most, though. It's unfortunately just how Zerg plays. GG.
PiLiPiLi gets in the right position and is able to tie up the series 2-2. Man, this series is so weird.
You weren't wrong about saying these guys go pretty back and forth. I mean, these have not been the most phenomenally clean or like perfect cutting edge games, but it has been on even terms. And I like that they don't see like one player overshadowing the other type thing, because that is always the worst when you get like one-sided matchups.
Yeah. And I think what's really interesting about this series is it feels like a lot of small things that will end up just kind of snowballing it in one direction. Because I feel like it shows players know each other really, really well. They're playing toward, they're trying to take risks or something, and sometimes the risk will pay off, and it just looks like, oh man, he just crushes his opponent. Or they'll take a risk, and their opponent's like, no, I know you're going to do something like that, and they just hard punish it. And I feel like that last game was almost a little bit latter, with PiLiPiLi having a pretty good defense against the early pool, and felt like he was able to defend it really well.
Well, folks, we're going to take a small break while we get to game number 5. Do stick with us, and we'll see you shortly, as things are now tied up 2-2 if you're just tuning in. If you're just tuning in. Hey, folks, we're back. It's game number 5. Things have been tied up now 2-2. It's an interesting discussion during the break, but that's not important for now, because we are, of course, going to see who can win, throw, or decide this match. Now, if this was some lame best of 5, this would be the end game. But we are, of course, going all the way to 7 at this rate. And in the top right, we've got Storm Gaming's PiLiPiLi.
And his opponent in the bottom left, we have Sloth Esports Club's GameTime.
Now, real quick, because, again, I'm not sure how you did the map stuff here. Was it all pre-chosen, or has this been loser's pick?
It was loser's pick, which I always thought, I'm with you, Ripken. That is the better way. That's the more fun way. That's the way that players can do kind of like on-the-spot reactions to how their opponent's playing.
Yeah, that's how I try to put myself in a player's shoe, and I gotta say, if I'm down a game in the series, I want every advantage to try and come back into it, right? Whereas with preset vetoes, it's not like it's terrible. Like, there is no map in the map pool, I feel, right now where like you automatically win because you're X race on X map. Like, there's always a chance for players to play this the way that would get them a victory. But yeah, sometimes you're just more comfortable. Like, I hate Blood Boil. It might be the most amazing Terran map of all time, and I'll never know because I have it vetoed and I hate it so vigorously. But yeah, it's always nice to have that loser's pick.
There's only one reason why I actually think that doing all the vetoes beforehand is beneficial. And that's because players have a terrible memory, and they always ask, so what was vetoed again, like 20 minutes ago?
I know. You're like, I got a veto something for a minute. There's been so many times where we've had to redo vetoes because like it'll be the most simplest thing messed up. The worst is like you have a best of 5. Everybody gets one veto, and they still mess it up half the time. And you're just like...
In their defense, I don't usually remember what the vetoes are at that point either.
Yeah. But anyways, best of 7 is certainly fun. Man, if I knew that we were going to get so much support for this, maybe I would have pushed for a best of 9. Because again, we're at $435 raised through Matcherino. I'm going to assume, and cross my fingers that all the codes have been used up at this point, because we've had some crazy, crazy generosity with, again, who are the top donors? We got Fear Dragon with the 101. We got Nivik with the straight up $100. Sloth Esports Club throwing in 41. Tom KD for 10 and 47 Ness for 10 as well. There's probably more beyond that, but those are the top 5 people on that list who have made today super awesome, specifically for GameTime and PiLi.
Absolutely, and cannot forget to shout out all the wonderful people who also donated and used the $1 promo code GVP. Didn't have to do anything but take a little bit of their time out of the day, but they did it, and you could too if you haven't already.
It's like, when you like the Uncle Sam Fear Dragon Photoshop, like, I want you to enter in the code.
North America needs you to support StarCraft. Okay, well, these two Lings from GameTime doing a really large amount of damage. Are they going to get a third probe?
Yeah, this shouldn't have even gotten 1. They got 3, and they might still get a scout back in the main if he skedaddles. Nope, never mind.
Oh, still really, really valuable amounts of damage, and also even like a little bit of scouting information. They would have seen the Twilight Council anyways at the front, but this just kind of tilts you. This puts you in the wrong mindset for the rest of the game.
This is where I really wish, like, when you see a wall this dedicated, especially on Defender's Landing, like, I've been asking this of the Koreans too, like, why more Zerg players aren't dedicating to Link drops or Overlord drops in general. I mean, you gotta consider how much PiLiPiLi's invested in the defense up here, while there's not a single pylon in the main, no overcharge to be had. I think a drop Overlord with even just 8 Lings would be so good, but we're still not seeing many Zerg players do that on this map.
You know, I'm in agreement with you, but the only caveat that I would say is I really wonder how that would play out in the current meta where more and more Protoss players are going for charge and getting out early Zealots. Because I actually really wonder, because the depths, you move out across the map, right? You move out much earlier on like this, but if you have a bunch of Zealots being made earlier, maybe you actually deal with those drops a lot more easily. I don't know.
Maybe. We'll find out. Either way, we do have a considerable amount of Lings being made at the moment. A couple of Roaches will join them shortly after. These 5 Adepts are going to be annoying, but they should be dealt with.
Yeah, the funny thing is, though, PiLi isn't going for some kind of crazy, like, 7-gate all-in right now. He's got, sure, a Robo coming on, and he has 3 gateways out, but he hasn't added on a crazy number of gateways just yet. In fact, he backs up with those Adepts. He's just forced out so many Lings. And GameTime's economy is kind of hampered right now because of it.
Well, he's still making 10 more drones, and he's going to have a workout for some time. I don't think he's sweating it too bad. What I do think is kind of funny, though, is I wonder if that was the intention. Like, he was just trying to bait GameTime into not playing greedy, essentially. But I don't think GameTime was. That Roach Warden was already on the way. I don't think PiLiPiLi really disrupted his plans.
Yeah, well, the Lings might be able to disrupt PiLiPiLi's plans. Well, no, it looks like he doesn't really want to fight that. I actually think, I mean, granted, he doesn't necessarily know how many more Adepts are up on that high ground or something, so maybe he didn't want to commit into that. But could have probably gotten both those pylons.
Big love to 47ness, by the way, taking another stab at the boss. This time he uses robots and electricity.
Ooh.
Like,
47ness, what a boss.
You know, if a coup was lightning instead of fire, that would look like a coup from Samurai Jack.
Oh
like
my god.
Eyebrows. Yo, I just watched the series finale. I won't spoil, guys. No spoilers. But like the revived season or whatever you want to call it of Samurai Jack was so good. I almost cried at like not the very ending, but the part that was leading to the ending. Like I just sat there. I'm like, don't do it. You're a man. You're a manly man. You're better than this. Who's cutting onions? Stop it. So, by the way, while the Warp Prism might be problematic over here, we do actually have a drop Overlord being made on the opposite side of the map.
Yeah, I wonder if he's going to get a chance to... Is he going to get a chance to use it, though? Because the Warp Prism is keeping so much of the army occupied. He sent in a couple of Adepts and is actually getting some good damage done in the natural. Actually, going to get maybe like 7-8 workers. Not too bad for 3 Adepts.
Hey, Fear Dragon.
What's up?
You know, like 6 is afraid of 7?
7, 8, 9?
7's a registered 6 offender.
Oh my god. Why? What was the context for this?
Oh, let's talk about numbers. Actually, I asked this joke. I asked this joke on Nate's stream the other day, and one of the girls we're playing with, she's like, "Oh, cause 6, 8, or 6, 7, 8, or like she just counted wrong." I'm like, "What are you doing? Don't you know how this works?"
It like ruins the joke for both of you. But, I don't think GameTime can push into this. This is a lot of... Okay, well, you might be able to push up the high ground.
Oh, this is actually going to be huge. If he can sneak up here while he's not paying attention. I mean, there's a lot of sentries, but that's most of what the army is, right? Like, a lot of sentries, not exactly fighting units. Lings into the main, maybe? Just run over? Nope. Okay, they're just going to push into that force field. He's wanting to brute force it down, but I think it's going to work. Once again, numbers and not tech seem to be what favors GameTime.
Yeah, PiLiPiLi is running dry on his army right now, and even his warpings are going to be that strong, as he only has 4 warp gates available. Slowly but surely, he's starting to lose out those value units. The sentries, the immortals, all falling down, and GameTime has cleaned up the third. There is a bit of damage happening on the other side of the map, or the warp prism, but
doesn't
mostly
matter.
gets cleaned up.
It doesn't matter. This is getting away with way too much, and this game, I feel, has already been decided. Like, even if PiLiPiLi holds on here, which I don't believe he will, there's just so much going for GameTime, and he took so little damage on the other side of the map in comparison. More probes are going to have to get pulled, pylons going down, Robo's depowered. That's about it. That's all she wrote. GG!
GameTime. You know what? He secures the lead for the 3rd time in this series.
Yeah,
because it's been going 1 for 1.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, prediction is, of course, that PiLiPiLi takes it back in the next game, but we won't know until we get into it. I guess we are just going to take a smidgen of a break since this is going by so quick, guys. Stick around. We'll see you for Game 6, which is possibly the last match when we return.
Oh my god, how many times did you tell that stupid joke?
Excuse you, Fear Dragon. That's a really rude thing to ask as we get back into game here for map number 6.
God damn it.
No, I've told the joke like twice. Terminator is just making a bigger deal because he watches me. Yeah, I just put this in chat, but I'm just going to straight up blatantly advertise. If you guys don't know, I do have a personal Twitch channel that I stream non-StarCraft content to. It's twitch.tv/riff_king. It's like my Twitter, but without a Z/Z. And a lot of it's been Players Unknown Battlegrounds. It's been a lot of fun, and yeah, we do some silly dank memes. However, I got to give a big shout out to a recent subscriber hitting us up with that 2-month back-to-back resub, Niesko, or Niesk0. Thank you very much. It's GG! But yeah, it's map number 6. This could determine the fate of these players. Spawning here in the upper left, we've got Psystorm Gaming's Blue Protoss PiLiPiLi.
And his opponent at match point, Yellow Zerg player from Sloth Esports Club. Give it up for game time.
I really wish this camera bug would get taken care of.
Right? Oh, it looks so silly.
You know, it's annoying for us. It's game breaking for players, though. I've now heard of like 4 different instances where it's like important match, like WCS qualifiers and stuff, where someone's camera gets stuck.
Yeah, I remember that happening to Snoot in an important match. Oh, that was.
You and Snoot are like workout buddies now, man. You guys gotta share so many stories.
Yeah, of course, man. Like literally, I'm at that point where I'm at the gym and I'm like thinking, I should send a selfie. What?
Are you talking about the Gaim? Place where you work out, right?
The Gaim?
Yeah.
I'm confused. Did I mispronounce something? Are you calling me out on mispronouncing something else?
Gym is like a person's name. Isn't it the Gaim?
Oh
where you go to like lift weights and run and shit?
No. You're thinking of the Pokemon Gaim, like Pokemon Grimer.
You play that new Gaim? Pokemon?
Oh, damn. PiLi with these sick blocks. He's actually blocked this hatchery for a good bit of time.
Yeah,
that's another one.
Almost like he's over 100 minerals now where he'd like to be. He's a mad lad. He's going back for more. No, he's not going to get it this time.
That was like a solid 20-second block or so. At least it felt like it.
It was long enough that it certainly hurts because GameTime was floating like 440-something minerals by the time that I actually got planted down. So that's not good for him. For PiLi, it's going to feel a nice little relief to get a small victory here because as much as a lot of us might want to complain about Protoss, Protoss is the one currently losing the series. He is on his last life after all. Every little thing counts.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I know we were joking about this, but as a Protoss player, so don't worry, no like non-Protoss or hate bias coming from me. But I feel like PiLi's wins have been pretty Protoss-y, right? It's been the
Golden Armada.
I got into your natural expansion and I force fielded you out, and Golden Armada. So like, PiLi's got to get a solid win on the board. It can't just be like a win. It's got to be a solid win, right?
Well, you know what? I disagree. A win's a win, and right now he needs to hang in there. If it means being cheesy, do it. Whatever it takes, don't fall out of the tournament or the show match here and now.
That's true. And I would say also the other kind of caveat is we haven't seen any truly late game plays. Besides, I guess you can kind of argue the Golden Armada game on Proxima, but it's Proxima. It's going for fast 3 Stargate into Fleet Beacon like immediately, then going up to 5 Stargates. Like I don't really consider that was a late game play. That was a really fast mid game carrier play.
I guess one last shout out to this, by the way, as we get closer to the game actually kicking off. This might be, again, if it's the last game, your last chance to use the promo codes, guys. Head on over to Match Arena and use the code GVP. Add $1 to the prize pool for free. I also want to note, too, that the prize pool is... when we started this, we put $100 in expecting to raise no other money, right? Difference in winning was literally like $20. Difference in winning now is almost $100. So it's almost the value of the original prize pool is the difference between first and second place for these guys.
it's pretty sick. So thank you everyone that contributed, both big and small. It all really helps and makes a difference for both of these guys. I'm sure they really appreciate it.
Now, Probe gets picked off, but he just threw on a pylon, so at least there might be a chance for an overcharge later. The Oracles did not accomplish much while this was going on by the looks of it. And why the heck can I not hit Control R? Are you able to see workers killed?
Yeah, I can. There's only one worker killed.
Why? Why would it not be working
it was
for
that
me?
probe. I don't know.
I can hit Shift L, I guess. But yeah, that's a weird bug. Okay, noted.
Oh. Gilly actually killing quite a few workers over there. Is gonna lose one of the Oracles though.
Not worth. Not worth.
Yeah. Well, at least keeps one of the Oracles alive, and he does go for that follow-up Phoenix that we talked about in that, I think, first game, killing off some of the Overlords. I actually really made me reconsider, why do you go for a Phoenix over a Void Ray? Because theoretically, like, you're right? The Void Ray is useful for dealing with roach attacks and everything. The one Phoenix isn't going to be super helpful in the engagement.
If anything, it's probably just cost. Void Rays are insanely expensive. Phoenixes are not.
It might also be for scouting, I suppose, as well as the cost. Just because the Phoenix is like mobile enough to move around and potentially scout, Void Ray really isn't.
That's why you get the Oracles, right? Constantly running around casting Revelation. They're pretty quick.
That's true.
I don't know. I think I like the Void Ray just because it takes care of it faster. And that might be something where you just really don't want to be wasting time with your Overlord. You don't want to have them chance to see whatever build you're making. Plus, I think Void Rays are just cooler overall, to be honest. Well, whatever. A lot of Hydralisks coming out of game time. Now, I do want to point out, we kind of talked about PiLiPiLi's wins being really Protossy, right? In terms of just like, he would play kind of disgusting. In terms of like, I guess, stereotypical Protoss. Game time, however, has had really Zergy wins too. Like, not to shame him or anything, but it's been a lot of games that don't have tech. There's not Vipers abducting thing. Like, it's brute force. It's just having so many roaches you're not able to be dealt with. So many Hydras the carriers can't fight back, right? Like, a lot of the times he's playing, he's just getting by with brute force. And it looks to be another instance of that here and now because there are no upgrades whatsoever. Well, I mean, there's going to be link speed, of course, but there's no actual weapon upgrades. There's no arm upgrades on the way. And trying to take on a double Robo Colossus army with this, I don't know will go well.
Yeah, it's really going to depend on, I think, a lot of positioning, which we've seen go well for PiLi and also really poorly for PiLi in some of these games. But, well, needs to get those first three Colossus make a huge difference. If he's engaging with just one, there's a really good chance he's going to get broken before the follow-up Colossus actually get there. Well, here we go. Puts an overcharge. Going to be able to buy some time. Colossus whittling away at the army, but Thermal Lance is a good way away from finishing, and the sentries actually managed to survive. I think he didn't lose any sentries over there, which is actually a pretty big deal. Can keep this army away for a little bit longer. Third Colossus is going to be coming out pretty shortly, but Mothership Core was picked off, so no more Fortune Overcharge to buy time. Guardian Shield instead of Force Seal coming out to help reduce the Hydra damage. It is helping out quite a bit. The Zealots and the Adepts on the front lines tanking a lot of shots. One Colossus does get picked off.
This was a really tough choice out of game time. He chose to ignore the gateway units to go over the Colossus, and yeah, by removing the Colossus, you remove a lot of area of effect damage, but getting himself, he basically ran into the side blades of the Zealots. He just let the Adepts wail away at him. Like, that was going to be costly either way, and I honestly don't know whether what he did was the right move or not. There's like one Colossus for the cost of how many Hydras? 16 died in total?
Yeah, and while the attack isn't over, I feel like this may be the first game we finally get to see from these guys where it goes into a normal kind of late-ish mid-game. We have a Lurker Den coming out from game time. The Colossus count is building up pretty high, and to quote PiLi on what he said he was going to do this series, I'm going to make many Storms, many Colossus, few Adepts, and my opponent's going to spam Hydra Bane. But, is PiLi prepared for the Lurkers?
Lurkers are certainly the unconventional surprise. See if they work out. I've had
sorry, I interrupted PiLi at that point and I missed the next follow-up. Then he will make Lurkers never make a hive. So that's PiLi's prediction.
So he knows what's up then. I was going to say, we've actually seen Bly bring Lurkers back into play against Protoss a little bit lately, and it's been really cool watching him play his brute force style, but I don't know. This is still going to be Lurkers without upgrades, so they're going to be limited in what they can do. They've got the range to beat the crap out of a Colossus. It's just a matter of whether they can survive long enough to do it, because Lurkers are surprisingly fragile.
Oh, well, PiLiPiLi, it seems like he's already got a good sense of, hey, well, we're not really engaging for a little bit. Your Hydra attack didn't quite work, so yeah, you're probably going into Lurkers, and he's already starting up that Disruptor count, getting up Templar Archives also for not only Storm, but also Archons.
Storms, I think, would be the biggest thing going forward. You want to wash off all the links so you're not wasting any shots on them, and just go straight for the back of the army, but... Well, there's... I guess this is some good SimCity for the Colossus hiding behind the Nexus like that. Big Revelation tag hits some of the Lurkers, but not all of them. Detection's going to be a huge issue for PiLiPiLi as he doesn't have any observers. It was only that Revelation.
Knocking out one of the Lurkers, but yeah, needs to keep those Disruptors alive. They're on the front line. Got to be so careful with those. Expansion is going to get canceled, but PiLiPiLi is taking out a lot of the frontline tanks for those Lurkers. The Lings and the Hydras going down.
Yeah, that being said, a lot of the Zealots have gone down too, though. Now new Revelation comes in. That actually hits all the Lurkers this time. That's huge.
Oh, gets a pretty good number of the Hydras with that Disruptor shot as well. Taking out some more of these Lurkers. Hydras moving up the ramp. I don't think GameTime wants to move into this. He probably wants to just sit here at the bottom and deny the fourth for a bit, but can't overstay his welcome.
I kind of forgot Phoenix has ripped the Lurkers out of the ground, but linking forward like this is really aggressive and perhaps a bit of a mistake. He does clean everything up, but that costs him all of the rest of his gateway units. Hydra's get on top of this. The Colossus actually don't have detection. Yeah.
Oh god, the Revelation wore out. He has enough energy for another Revelation. He can tag both of the Lurkers if he's careful about it. Well, it's gonna be, yeah, he does get both of them. Nicely done.
Literally moving laterally for 29 months. Thank you for that resub, dude.
Fascinating name. Well, one more Lurker's gonna finish up and should be, honestly, could even just burrow to escape.
So while this was going on, GameTime actually expanded quite a bit. He's got another base on the way too. If he can get the army to hold, I really think he's in an okay spot, but the problem is upgrades and tech still favor PiLiPiLi heavily. So GameTime needs to do more than hold. He needs to take a favorable engagement.
Yeah, and this is going to be on pretty open ground, so it's a nice place to engage against the Colossus.
I feel like he just missed a huge opportunity to get that Warp Prism for free.
Oh yeah, I don't even know if you saw the Warp Prism. It may have just been like just barely out of range or something. Well, definitely sees it now. Lurker's going to make this difficult for PiLiPiLi to push into because he still does not have any observers whatsoever. I mean, why make observers when you're making disruptors constantly? But that one Revelation going to be very important. He needs to keep that orb. Like, this is such a thin defensive no detection.
It's really weird too, because it is specifically Lurkers. I thought there might be a little bit more dedication, but Disruptors are getting the job done. You know, you can't see him, you can still shoot him.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Does still have 4 of those Disruptors alive, and with his army, he's going to be able to get the hatchery. Does PiLiPiLi feel content with that amount of damage, or is he going to continue to push forward? Seems like he spotted the other base over here on the right-hand side, and GameTime isn't even moving over to a position to defend that. It seems like he's just giving it up.
It's really difficult for him to, though. Oh, that's a beautiful pick-off on that Disruptor with those Hydras, by the way. Kept those 2 Lurkers alive, but yeah, I feel like it's a little too far gone. GG's get called, and we're gonna go to the ace match. Game 7 awaits.
Okay, well, PiLiPiLi finally breaking kind of the chain of how things have been going, where he's only been winning the most Protoss-y of Protoss games. And he finally takes what I feel like is a pretty solid win. He defends against that big Hydra Bane or Hydra Ling push that he's been dying to repeatedly, and finally takes it to the later stage of the game and is able to win in that stage. So we'll see where Game 7 goes, as we only have Sequencer left, I think, now.
Yeah, and you noted that this is a map PiLiPiLi doesn't necessarily want to play on either, so it'll be really interesting to see how this influences this final game in the series. But again, quick recaps, guys. Number 1, I think we still have some match arena codes left over. If we don't, then good. I want to be wrong about that. Use up all the codes before we're done with the day to make sure players get the most money possible. We're almost at $450. Let's get a nice evened out amount for this. Seconded by the fact that we did announce DreamHack Atlanta will be working with us to bring StarCraft to DreamHack Atlanta. If you haven't seen that, type ! announcement in chat. I think Boris made a command for it. And you guys can get hyped for some more StarCraft in North American LAN. A big one at that with DreamHack. But until then, a commercial break as we get to the final game of the series. Stay tuned. All right, folks, we're back, and we're loading into the 7th and final game in the series. Also, Bacon Hero, why you gotta go show Scarlet stuff like that, man? No, ain't nobody want to see a clip like that. Game number 7, though, as mentioned, getting into what is the final possible match in the show match today. We're $446 raised.
Woo.
First place walks away with $267. Second place gets $178. Pretty good payday for both the players playing today. Well, and paying today. In the top right, though, he has certainly gone on the BaseTradeTV radar. In the top, it's going to be the yellow Zerg player, GameTime. That's a terrible intro. Let me do it again.
Okay.
In the top right, he's recently found himself on our radar. An excellent Zerg player, to say the least. It is none other than GameTime.
And in the bottom left, we have the red Protoss player from Storm Gaming. Give it up for the Kazakhstanian in America, PiLiPiLi. Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z who will win.
I really want to find some like super like communist Kazakhstani type like music to play in the background, because I feel like that would actually be kind of epic.
Do you mean the Borat music?
Kind of, yeah.
Like the Borat country, what was it? He had like the national anthem from Borat that's not actually the national anthem.
Wasn't he from Kazakhstan?
Yeah, but they had a fake national anthem in Borat.
Oh,
apparently it got played at like some big event on accident instead of the actual national anthem.
Well, maybe someone in chat
YouTube
will
clip
know.
for you later.
I was gonna say, yeah, link it to me a little bit later. Sequencer, as mentioned, may not have been a map Peely was super stoked to play on, so seeing a proxy here in the top left is not all that crazy. Maybe expanding to the left this early could hurt game time, but we'll see what type of proxy it is. I mean, it's typical to say Stargate for any and all Protoss, but this is close enough that you could justify a Robo.
Yeah, it is going to end up being a Stargate. I kind of cheated because I saw him do this versus Jon Snow in the WCS Challenger, not qualifiers, an actual WCS Challenger not too long ago, just a few days ago. And honestly, it worked out pretty damn well. You do this, you manage to make those 2 oracles, and a lot of the time the Zerg players don't actually find this because not many Pros players are this ballsy with, like you said, a Stargate. Why would you proxy it so close by ground? Why not take advantage of the whole air thing?
Yeah, well, certainly timings are more annoying than the type of unit more than anything else, but combined could be very, very deadly. This Adept doesn't have much to do right now. In fact, I'm surprised he's even sending it in to have its shield stripped off. The distraction value from this later far outweighs any drones he'd pick off right now.
Yeah, that's a fair point. May have been a little bit more useful to send it in alongside that kind of initial thing, but I wonder if that's also just to determine, okay, I'm not getting all in, right? Because remember, he hasn't actually scouted with anything other than that Adept. He didn't go for a worker scout like he did in a lot of those previous games, so maybe it's just a little bit of safety precautions.
Yeah. You know, surprisingly, we haven't had a lot of this asked during the cast today, but finally here in Game 7, someone finally does. Where is Zombie Grub? She is currently in Korea. In fact, Bacon Hero, the same guy who was showing Scarlet those clips, didn't know anything to do that. I think Scarlet helped her move into her new place or something. Whoa. She's not there permanently, just for a little bit.
Oh my god. This Oracle, so this is what I'm talking about to cut you off really quickly. Yeah, because it moves, and this is why it's so scary. This happened versus Jon Snow also. It comes in, because Sequencer is such a big map, right before those spell callers have actually finished up, and it catches so many Zerg players by surprise. Even the second Oracle can come in and do some good damage.
Yo, what's sick about that too, that Oracle with 8 kills, and it has more kills than it has health. When do you ever see that be a thing?
That is a fair point.
Well, the Phoenix follow-up to this might be for the Overlords. I think he knows he's going to lose the Stargate one way or the other, so he's going to barely miss this one. Might turn around for it. Freebies are still freebies. But, yeah, PiLiPiLi going down means the Stargate gets shut down, which means there's not going to be anything else here for a little bit.
Oh my god, that supply block tab in the after-game screens are just going to be plummeting PiLiPiLi's average supply block time.
Yeah,
oh no, he had a pylon finished up. Never mind.
His statistics are truly the most on-the-line thing right now.
99% useless.
My average
That's
will
what
go
I
down.
specialize in.
Yeah, I know we got some Fear Dragon subs in chat. Where's that 99% useless emote?
Yeah, 99. Yeah, man, I've been loving that new sub emote. But okay, we got the lair gonna be finishing up finally over here for game time. I would be shocked, just unbelievably shocked if we don't just see a Hydra Den coming out once again. There's gonna be Hydra Den Baneling Nest. Cool. Actually,
you know, there's a lot of times I would make the argument for this. This would be one of those games, though, where I wish he would have played Mutas off this. He knows he shut down the proxy Stargate, and the chances are low that there'd be any sort of other Stargate built at home this early. Mutas could have actually run rampant, but rampant, whatever, pun, screw it. It's not worth the wordplay, because right now he actually tries to cut off the legs that would have been so sick if he had been able to catch these.
Yeah, he does have enough energy for 3 more stasis traps, but the adepts alone are actually doing a significant amount of damage just in terms of lost mining time already.
Yeah.
Oh, this could be
Stasis
so sick. The stasis trap is gonna actually protect these adepts.
That was actually a really good juke, though, from game time. Like, he knew that was coming into play, so he pulled back at just the right time. The Oracle goes down. The Adepts have finally been cleaned up. Ultimately, the workers lost for the dedication to this really isn't bad. 9 for several Adepts and 2 Oracles. 7 Adepts and 2 Oracles, even. That's a really good defense.
Yeah, if he didn't get the Oracles themselves, or at least he only got one of the Oracles, I would like this defense a little bit less. But the fact that he gets both of them and has completely shut down all of that kind of harassment potential from PiLiPiLi until a War Prism or something gets out, that is just probably the most valuable thing. And Game Time knows it. He's taken that 4th expansion. He's going to just probably start playing a little bit greedy from here on out, getting up the Spire like you were saying before. And this is actually kind of surprising. This is the one thing PiLiPiLi did not predict.
Darting across.
Failing run by.
It's going to be a little bit weird. The sentries here are very much on purpose anticipating something like that. And all you really need is 2 force fields to keep the banelings out.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That plus the flush and overcharges can take care of them pretty damn quickly. Especially since these banelings don't have baneling speed yet. Okay. Waddle, waddle. PiLi not reacting. Okay, PiLi's finally reacting, and boom.
There's
perfect force field. Okay, not the most perfect.
He kind of lost it with the other 2, right? Like, he was trying to catch them, and I think in his best case scenario would have got the 3rd one now, but not gonna happen. Colossus,
like
though, being the weapon of
one.
choice.
Yeah, it's like when you get a hole in one in the first hole, and in the second hole you like go like two putts beyond par.
Fear Dragon, I'm rich enough to golf. My pinkies are out when I cast.
You mean mini golf, man? I live in this city.
Mini golf. I didn't know she golfed. That's cool.
Oh my god. Well, not only does she do all of my graphics,
she actually designed the LFT jersey. Fun fact.
Yeah, nice.
For those
yeah,
who don't know what we're referring to, we are giving a very awkward shout out to Minnie Mouse. But, speaking of awkward!
Oh my god, he actually gets the sentries.
That
he's on the regular move commands.
That was so bad. There was no warp-ins, no Phoenix control. There was no reason. That should have just hit the entire army.
It was a hallucinated Phoenix that he was controlling.
Oh my god. You know that was halluc, right? Oh, that was actually that was so bad though. That was not only just costly in terms of like losing 3 sentries, but it actually injured the rest of the army. And that kind of, again, it's banelings that weren't meant to do anything. They were already shut down. They shouldn't have gone any further. But yo, we have Corruptors coming out. I can't remember the last time I saw Corruptors be the counter to Colossus.
Yeah, and it's not just there's Corruptors coming out. It's like gonna be Corruptors without any kind of Vipers to pull the Colossus into the Corruptors. Like it's just gonna actually be Corruptors running into Colossus with their little speed upgrade buff, trying to kill him off and backing out. Like, this is gonna be so strange. But here's the thing that I really like about this Rifkin, is with this speed buff on those Corruptors and how large of a map sequence there is, you could do Corruptor run-bys on vital tech buildings, I think.
Maybe, yeah. This is where the Void Rays become really interesting too. You mentioned the speed upgrade. Well, let's talk about the speed downgrade for the Void Rays.
Oh yeah.
Now when they actually go Super Saiyan mode to fry up said Corruptors, they move like a queen off of creep. The 40% movement speed means that they can't really chase anything. When they're in normal mode, it's not a problem. It's exactly the same as before. But when they go like, it's all slowed and just you can't use it.
Yeah, that's actually going to be kind of difficult maybe for PiLi to deal with if Game Time does a good job of baiting those out. But oh my god, holy Banelings, Batman. PiLi scouts out all of these Banelings and all the attack vectors that are going to be coming out.
Well, we're going to watch the Void Rays look really silly in a moment, but the Corruptors now choose Void Ray or the Colossus. It looks like give me the Void Ray. Without contest, it's the Void Ray. The Colossus on the front lines are exposed to the Hydras. The Banelings get shot down, but distract long enough? Game Time's starting to run over PiLi. PiLi's down to 50 army supply or less. This looks terrible for him.
PiLi doesn't even have a Mothership Core to punch an overcharge with. Even attacking his own game with one of those volleys from the Stalkers. I think this just might be it. I do not think that PiLi has enough to hold on. But the one caveat here is there's no reinforcements coming across the map for Game Time, or at least they're a little bit delayed. So
it's like
maybe
though, right? Because the reinforcements he has coming are not only Lings, so they'll be here quick. They're actually the ones with upgrades. There's no range weapon upgrades for these Hydras.
Oh, wow. Yeah, PiLi, he's just dropped too far down in supply. I think this is going to be it. Game Time did a spectacular job this game with the Corruptor switch up, really catching PiLi off guard.
I love that he was pissing on the building there towards the end, too. That's really nice.
Extra little bit of damage. There it is. Game Time wins with a 4-3 victory, taking first place in this show match of the $472 prize pool. As of right now, still have a small little bit of a window to increase that prize pool.
Damn, people threw in some extra bucks. And yeah, Arknog coming in a little bit late, $25, saying go PiLi. Oh, sorry, Arknog. But the nice thing is it is a 60-40 split. So PiLi's going to walk away today with $188.80. That's not too bad. Again, the loser of this series almost got double the overall prize pool of what we had initially put in for this. It's so cool seeing the community get into stuff like this, guys, and it's really awesome. I mean, I know that even if we take out Fear Dragon's like extra 100 he threw in, like this is still a lot of freaking money. You take out the 100 we put in, that's still a lot of freaking money. The community was, I guess, stoked enough to make this show match happen, and I'm glad we could certainly entertain. But Game Time will walk away with $283 for first place.
Oh my god.
And of course, the best part about this is because this show match has been done through us, one of our deals with Matcherino is they will cover the cost of like the fees, so players are going to get the money they want. They're not losing like 15% to like processing fees and Matcherino fees or anything like that. So yeah, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. I'm going to see if we can get a hold of Game Time. Maybe he wants to come in and talk a little bit. But we'll be back in a couple of minutes, guys. Thanks for watching. Hey, we're back for the break, but let me get these guys their own screen regions real quick so we don't have to like watch them all clumped up in the corner. For those who don't know, the face that you don't recognize here is Game Time. Okay, our resident Zerg player just won the show match, which was, I gotta say, a surprisingly back and forth show match series. I didn't expect it to be like, it's not that I didn't expect it to be close, but to literally go like 1-1-1-1 over and over.
Yeah, it's because of that loser's pick or whatever, right? So like we pick a good map for Protoss and I'd pick a good map for Zerg, and then it just kept going back and forth.
Holy shit! I have some really good news for you, Game Time.
Yo, what's up?
OFU just came in at the very last minute to throw in $200 to the prize pool.
Holy crap.
I was ready to tell you how you won almost $300, but first place just became worth $404.40.
Holy cow. Thank you so much. Holy. Oh my god.
PiLi's going to be happy too. PiLi gets $269. It's not too shabby. But yeah, you just got $404. That is literally, to put in context for everybody tuning in, 4 times the amount of the original prize pool available today.
That's crazy, man.
So
holy cow.
I actually do have a couple questions for you, but I just want to go back to something we talked about on stream earlier, where I was really not upset, but I was sad that Game Time didn't get the Gameland invite. I actually wrote a big recommendation for him because I thought, there was a little bit for Austin. I had seen his name. Like, don't want to make you feel insulted here. I really didn't know much of Game Time though. You don't play in a lot of the cups we play. There's not a lot of tournaments and qualifiers that we host that you're playing in. So I'd seen your name on like Fear Dragon's Ladder Heroes and stuff like that, but not actually seen you play. DreamHack definitely put you on the map for me, and since then, like, you've actually provided a lot of really fun games. I think Zerg players get stuck playing a certain way, but there was this one game recently, I don't remember who you were playing the ZvZ, But we were sitting there going like, why is he putting his first 4 lings over there? It makes no sense. And then you made this one sick baneling that caught your opponent's Zerglings, and you're just like, wow, he actually planned that from like the get-go. That wasn't like a lucky hit. Like, so big respect to you, Game Time. And it was why I was very happy to try and work with him to make a show match today. So again, first off, thank you for playing, man. Thank you so much.
Oh no, thank you for putting this on, man. This is amazing. This is so much fun, honestly. Like, me and Pili are good friends too, so it's like it's great that we both come out with like a lot of money and stuff. So no, I had a ton of fun. So I thank you so much for putting this on. I appreciate it, dude.
Yeah, and of course, big thank you, before we get into the questions here, big thank you, blanket thank you to everybody, whether you're OFU dropping 2 hundos, or whether you're the people who just use like the $1 promo codes. You help build up this prize pool to be something super worthwhile for these guys. And it's nice to see the involvement for that too. You know, we host Korean events where we barely get the coupon codes used at all. This is like the most hype we've seen on a Match Arena tournament we've hosted in a while. And it's for North American kids with less than 1,000 viewers. Fuck yeah, $675.
That's amazing, dude. Yeah, hell yeah. That's crazy. I did not expect it to be this much. I was shocked when it went up to 250, to be honest. 675 is nuts, man.
All right,
I'm really happy.
Let me hit you with some questions, all right? And this first one might sting a bit, okay? But I need the answer. I know you were looking really forward to Yunshiping, and then when that fell through, you were looking really forward to Game Line. You actually went out of your way to expedite a passport, pay the extra fees just to get it to you ASAP. Yeah. You didn't qualify for either, which is a little bit sad. Is that going to stop you, though? You're going to still keep playing, right?
No, oh, definitely, of course. Honestly, like, every time you always, like, underperform and, like, you do really, like, poorly in general, you always, like, second-guess yourself, right? Like, all the time you're putting in for StarCraft and everything, right? So it's, like, I don't know. You always want to, like, you tell yourself to, like, stop, but then, like, the next day you're like, I'm just going to keep grinding, you know? I'm going to keep playing. So, no, I'm going to keep playing, of course. Like, I'm not going to stop.
All right. Well, Game Time, tell us a little bit about yourself here, man. Like, we don't know much about your background. You doing this full-time part? Fear Dragon, what are you trying to show off stats? Look at this guy.
I am showing off stats. Keep going.
Are you doing this full-time, part-time? I mean, I don't know much about you, and I'm sure our audience is interested to hear too.
Yeah, so basically it's like, right now I'm actually like full-time for like a month because I'm not taking college classes. But basically like SE2 is like my part-time job, I guess, because I go to school full-time. I go to college full-time. So basically like this is like my side job, and like I obviously like wanted to get like a lot bigger and better, obviously. So that's why I play so many like tournaments and I want to do well and everything, right? So yeah, like right now I'm not taking any summer classes. I'm taking summer 2 classes. So it starts up in like July. So basically I'm like not doing anything for a month. So I've been grinding a ton, which is why like I was super upset about the qualifiers, because like I've been playing pretty much the most I've ever played like my whole life, because I've just been grinding a lot every day. But yeah, basically I'm like full-time for like a month right now, and then yeah, I'm gonna be like part-time again for school and everything. So yeah.
Well, actually, on that note, we've talked to a lot of players before, Snoot and otherwise, and everyone seems to have a different opinion on what is like the best way to practice and improve. You know, some will say, oh, you should be playing these tournaments because everyone takes it more seriously. There's money on the line. Some will say just grind a million games on ladder like Neeb does. Where do you sit on this scale? Like, what do you feel is the best practice for you?
I think like grinding games is always good, but like I think like understanding like small mistakes you are making and being brutally honest with yourself is like really, really important. Like I think I said this at DreamHack too. I remember when you interviewed me as well.
Yeah.
But I have a second monitor, right? And like on that second monitor, it's like purely notes that like I just take like during games, like mistakes I see in my play and like ways to fix them and stuff. So basically it's like you got to just find ways to improve, like whatever you can do. Obviously, like everyone says, like grinding games is great. I agree with that. It is great, but there's another like part to it, right? You got to like realize your mistakes, like fix them as fast as possible, and just realize it's a process and it's not going to happen overnight. You know, like it's very easy to like get down on yourself and stuff, like with improving and everything. If you feel like you're not improving really quickly and stuff, so yeah, just taking notes and like just grinding games is really good, and realizing your mistakes, pretty much.
Cool. We had a really hype announcement at the start of the stream today. I'm gonna just quickly announce it here. You guys don't hear. We're gonna be working with DreamHack to bring StarCraft to Atlanta, which did not originally have StarCraft. Is this like the price for right now is only $5,000? We're obviously gonna work to make that bigger, but is $5,000 enough to incentivize someone like yourself to come out and play at a big LAN like DreamHack?
Yeah, you definitely consider it, definitely. But like the only problem is that it's a BYOC, so I
How
got
do you get your computer there, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and I'm in Michigan, so yeah, I'm gonna try and see. I'm gonna do everything I can. You know, I'm gonna see what I can do and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, it's amazing. More North American lands is awesome. You know, like Cheesadelphia is another small one. So like, this is like great to have like more and more of these, because obviously you love playing in lands and stuff. So yeah, I appreciate you doing this. This is awesome. I
Yeah.
think a lot of people like me and stuff like the semi-pros and pros are going to be like super happy about it and try and go.
I hope people will, at least, because again, like for those who didn't hear earlier, I'll bring this up again now. Like the more tickets we sell, the more I guess resources we'll have at our disposal, and more cool stuff we can do with these events. So, quick note as well: while you might buy it here or now, or maybe you'll wait later. Anytime you see the Match Arena pages have the DreamHack tickets as a reward, 50% of that ticket cost will go to the prize pool of whatever tournament it's supporting. But the other part of it, and this is the other really important part, is it is cheaper than buying them through the actual DreamHack website. So give yourself a discount.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I will.
That's why Fear Dragon was telling you today, man. Like if you had bought the ticket for this show match today, like I know you don't know whether you're going or not, right? But if you bought this today, part of that money would have also been sent back to you through the prize money that you would have won today. It would have been the cheapest possible way.
Yourself for the ticket.
That's crazy.
Oh, hey, Pig's hosting us. Thank you for the host, Pig. We're wrapping up here, man. So if your viewers want to stick around for a few minutes, that's cool. But otherwise, yeah, we're done with the cast for today. What do you think so you mentioned that you're kind of like right now this is your side job, right? Then you got school and you're going to have to juggle all this around again. What is your biggest challenge for I guess, for if you wanted to go more full-time with StarCraft? Let's pretend school is not an option right now. Is it motivation? Is it money? Is it practice? Like, what's the hardest thing for you right now to not go full-time with StarCraft?
It's just like results, right? You got to kind of be honest with yourself and like see if you can like do well for yourself and everything through StarCraft. So like right now, I think like being part-time is okay, but like being full-time, I'm kind of like getting like for like this past like 2-3 weeks or so, I'm kind of like getting a feel for how it is. I think being part-time is still okay. Like I find myself still practicing like even when I was part-time, like 6 hours or so, and now I'm like hopefully like around like 6 to 8 or 10, you know, like depending on the day. It's all motivation though, you know. If you feel like playing and grinding, it's obviously gonna help. That's like regardless. I don't think it makes that big of a difference, but it's definitely like just more practice and like in general it's better, right? But I think it's okay to go to school as well. But yeah.
Be cool, stay in school, kids. You heard it here.
Yeah.
Don't do drugs. All right, man. Well, I know your team propped you up pretty big with this. They even threw some cash into the prize pool too.
Yeah, you told me. That's sick.
How long have you been on the team for?
I joined July last year, so it's almost been like it's 10 months right now, so it's almost been like a year. Yeah.
Cool. And do they? I guess don't give me specifics here, but do they give you good support and stuff when it comes to trying to play things? And
definitely. I appreciate them so much. Like they help me with like travel expenses to tournaments and stuff. So that's pretty much what I want as a player, right? You know, you want to like go and compete.
You want the opportunity to play. Yeah.
That's exactly what. Yep. Exactly.
How awesome is Travis?
I love Travis, man.
You know,
you have no idea. Like, if you look at our chat logs, it's so funny, dude. Because I'm always like, whenever I'm doing like poorly and stuff, I'm always like just ranting to him, and he's always like cheering me up and stuff. It's hilarious, man. He's like the best friend.
This is Travis Yang, right?
Yeah, Travis.
Yeah, I was just saying, I've known him since back when he was on like Ascension or whatever. He's a really good guy.
Oh yeah, amazing guy, man. He's so nice and everything. Like he always gets me up whenever I'm feeling down. It's amazing friend, dude.
Cool. When are you guys getting married, or is that? Just teasing. I like you guys up.
All right, I got dibs on Travis, man.
All right, well, game time. I'm gonna give the floor to you now, man. Any things you want to talk about or shout out or anything you got? We're gonna wrap up the stream here, so you got last say on whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah. Firstly, thanks you for hosting this Showmatch. It's obviously it's an amazing opportunity. I had fun playing, and yeah, thank you for everybody who donated. That's really awesome. Like $675 is freaking amazing. So thank you. And yeah, shout out to my team, Sloth Esports. You know, they helped me a lot. Like as I was saying, with like giving me opportunities to go to tournaments and stuff. So I appreciate them for that. And yeah, follow me on Twitter at GameTimeSC2. And basically, I'm going to be trying to do well in this upcoming WCS qualifiers for Valencia. So that's pretty much how I'm going to be.
I was almost. I thought they scheduled. I'm like, wait, they're already happening? We just finished the other ones. What's going on here? But
2 weeks apart.
Yeah, it's gonna be the Valencia grind for the next couple of weeks for sure.
Exactly. It starts tomorrow night. Actually, that's the first day for ladder qualifiers. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be stressful again, but it's always really fun.
Use the stress to fuel you, man. Don't be afraid of it. All right, well, folks, thank you again for joining us today. Like I said, we're wrapping up here, so we don't really have a lot of big shout-outs to do. This wasn't like a sponsored event. This was totally like a for fun thing. So, again, thank you both PiLiPiLi and GameTime here for joining us. Thank you, Fear Dragon, for joining me on the channel. If you guys haven't already seen, well, there's been a lot of awesome support for this. We still have the Mega Tournament fundraiser running in the background. You can type !MEGA to take a look at that. We just recently hit $9,000 raised, so you know that tournament, a lot of people don't seem to understand, we have $30,000 already, so this is adding on to it. So this is now like an almost $40,000 budget we have to throw a really awesome tournament at the end of the year. So if you want to get involved with that, be sure to check it out. Other than that, I guess our sponsors are all listed down below, and one last time, thank you again, Game Time and Fear Dragon, for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it, man. This was a lot of fun.
All right. Oh, sorry. Very, very last thing, too, is if you guys don't know, make sure to check the events tab at the top of the stream. It'll show you when we're casting next. Zombie Girl will be coming back. She's casting from Korea. She wasn't here today, though, because this was also kind of like a super last-minute thing. Like, Game Time and I literally, like, 2 days ago, were like, let's do something. Okay, sure. Like, this was not planned in advance very well.
Yeah.
But okay.
So once asking where is Zombie Grub is actually the accurate thing to ask instead of what else is Zombie Grub doing.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, guys, we're going to end the stream here. So thanks again, everybody. Have a good night. Give some love to whoever we host, and we'll see you all later. Bye.